At this time, I'd like to introduce you to our next speaker, Mr. Andre Parker.
Peace to the gods, knowledge equality. First of all, I want to thank everybody in attendance. We're here today for a good reason, and hopefully we'll be able to make a difference. They say every journey begins with a first step. This is an important first step. My name is Andre Parker, and I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I'm the Vice President of the Black Prisoner Caucus here at Common Bay. I'm currently serving a lengthy sentence for what I like to call a series of bad decisions. The facilitator of our youth program, Carlos, I call him Peso, encouraged me to speak to you all about my experience and how I believe we can help deter future generations from making the same mistakes that we made. I struggle with how to go about this because honestly, when you lived a certain way all your life, it's hard to not only learn a new way of life, but also to apply the things that you've learned. Even once you've ended up in a place like prison and you understand the error of your ways, it's hard to break some habits. I'm a work in progress myself, so it's kind of difficult for me to put something like this together without feeling like a hypocrite of sorts. But I understand it's bigger than me. If I can do any little thing that will help affect younger generations of brothers in a positive way, then I feel it's my duty to do so. My own experiences are common in our community. I got involved in the gang at a very young age, but it wasn't really a single conscious decision that I made. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a gang member. It started just living life as a young black kid, hanging out with other kids like me. It's easy to hang out with kids that look like you, who live where you live, and who are experiencing the same things you're experiencing. A lot of my friends had older brothers and sisters or cousins who lived the street life. I had my uncle who was like a father figure early in my life. He sold drugs, but he also had a drug habit. My mother and grandmother did their best, so they worked a lot. I looked up to my uncle, even though he was in and out of jail. He was the coolest guy in the world to me, so the way he lived didn't seem wrong in my young mind. Like I said, the other kids in my community were going through the same things at home. What led to me being in the streets was seeing older guys in my community with nice cars on gold rims, and loud music and tight engines. I wanted those things, along with the notoriety that came along with having it. These were the guys I looked up to, the guys I aspired to be like. I didn't know any lawyers, doctors, or college graduates growing up. I only saw those type of people on TV or when I went to juvenile court. Now I don't want to sound like I'm a victim at all, because I believe I'm intelligent enough that I could have chosen a different path, but I didn't understand how the decisions I made early in life would affect me for the rest of my life. That's why we're here now, to help kids avoid making these same mistakes. I see shows on TV like Scared Straight, and I laugh because I remember doing similar classes when I was young to satisfy my probation officer. I even went to the prison in Monroe and attended classes in juvenile hall. As a kid, as soon as those meetings were over, I forgot about them because those people didn't come home with me. So what they said went in one ear and out the other. I wanted nice clothes and a nice car on gold rims. I wanted the pretty girls that came along with them. The older guys who lived where I lived, who looked like me, who experienced the same things I was experiencing, had those things, and they didn't have jobs. They sold drugs and they were gang members. A lot of kids like me just naturally stepped into the footprints left by those guys. It was easy for us because in my case, I started selling crack right at home, with and also to my uncle. My point in saying all that is that kids nowadays are going through the same things that we went through. It's 24-inch rims now instead of gold rims, and it's pills or meth instead of crack. They're now stepping into the footprints that we left, and that bothers me. It's even worse for them because there isn't the same family vibe in the hood that there once was. And they're dealing with things like social media, and nowadays, they aren't just seeing the older guys in their neighborhood shining from the street life, but also entertainers who glorify the lifestyle. It's even harder for the youth now than it was when I was young. And a muscle-bound man yelling at a room full of troubled kids isn't going to change anything, because as soon as he leaves, they're left to deal with their realities. I believe where it all starts is with fathers and positive father figures. I have friends who had dads growing up and it mattered a lot. We have to do all that we can do to be good fathers, good father figures, and good mentors. And that doesn't mean telling kids how to do something, but rather showing them by example. I believe it was Einstein who said, tell me how to do something and I'll forget it. Teach me how to do something, I'll learn it. Do something with me and I'll continue to do it. I know I probably messed the man's quote up, but I'm sure you all get the idea. We have to be a better example to our kids and also to the kids in our community. I remember we used to sell candy when we were young. There were guys who loaded us up in vans and took us all over selling candy, and we all wanted to be the top seller. The best of us even pocketed some alright money for ourselves. Kids nowadays don't have that, but I think the same model would be beneficial. We need to load up vans with kids and help them find jobs. The BPC has been working on the Young Merchants model, which I think is an excellent idea, and I believe you all got a copy of it. I think helping the kid through the whole process of getting a job will help. Once he or she receives that first check and understands the troubles associated with fast money, the allure of the streets will begin to fade. More than telling kids what they should be doing, we need to find a way to provide them with something to do, or at least obtainable goals that they can accomplish. I know I used to encourage the younger guys in my neighborhood to go to school or work, but they saw me doing something totally opposite. We have to learn to lead by example. Young people respect and expect results. And I don't have all the answers, but I'm willing to help come up with some so that future generations don't waste their lives like I did. With that said, I want to thank everybody again for being a part of this event, especially those behind the scenes that are also working on these issues, like our treasurer, Willie Nobles. Most of all, though, I want to thank all of you who made the long trip to be here with us. I hope that your trip is safe.